welcome to another educational video about screen printing by Catspit Productions. Thanks a lot for clicking on my video today. I really appreciate your time and attention very much. If you like what you see, the tips, the advice, and such, please subscribe to my YouTube channel right now. I appreciate your support and it helps me keep motivated to keep doing these videos right here on YouTube for you, free. Alright, so subscribe to my YouTube channel right now. Alright, so I just want to go over a question that you might be thinking about as you peruse the internet and do research on screen printing t-shirts. You know, is screen printing t-shirts the right home starter business for you? Well, you know, that question can be difficult to answer, but there's a few things I can point out for you to help you in making this decision. Okay, the first thing you should consider is space. Okay, there's a certain amount of space required for screen printing. You need to have space to put all of the equipment that you're going to need to screen print commercially. Now, of course, there are different levels of screen printing, and different types of equipment takes up different amounts of space. So startup equipment, benchtop equipment tends to take up the least space, and more commercial, full operational rotary presses and commercial industrial type stuff will take up more space. Usually a 2-car garage of about 500 square feet can handle a small, you know, commercial equipment type shop like even this one. As you recall from some of my earlier videos, I was in a 500 square foot shop for a little while. The next thing that you might have to consider, you know, with space is your electrical. There are going to be certain electrical requirements. Some of the belt dryers require 220 volt, okay? Some of the belt dryers and flash cure units require 220 volt, and some of them will require, that may have been redundant, but some of them will also require industrial 110 or 120 volt, which means that they work on a 20 amp breaker as opposed to a household 3-prong 15 amp breaker. Okay, so electrical requirements of the equipment, especially belt dryers, can be taxing on a home business or a home shop, but it is possible to drop you know, a sub box, a junction box in your garage and run 220 power in a home, because if you have an electric range, an electric oven, that's running on 220 power. So there's ways to tap into that or to make 220 power available to you in your home. Okay, so space, electrical, okay, and then also you kind of need running water and a drain. Okay, the running water and the drain is used in screen making and screen reclaiming. So you're going to need cold running water and a drain, and that is, you know, kind of hard to get around. I mean, you can work around it. Some people work outside and do different things, but you know, for a commercial shop, you're going to need running water and a drain. Okay, so another thing you want to consider is that there's a real decent learning curve to not only learning artwork, but there's a decent learning curve to printing itself, you know, to learn how to print. So you want to be sure that you understand that buying the equipment today doesn't mean that you're going to be printing tomorrow. You're going to take baby steps in learning how to create artwork and learning how to print on the press and what artwork works better than others. And remember, graphic designers, you know, nothing to take away from graphic designers or anything, but graphic design is usually for print or for web or monitors, TV, you know, digital, okay, or like I said, offset printing. So screen printing artwork is much different than graphic design. So not all graphic designers will really truly understand how to set up screen printing artwork. Some of them will, many of them won't. So screen printing artwork is a little bit unique and different, and you need to understand how artwork will translate to screen. It's probably a good idea to also mention that just because you know how to screen print and you can screen print well doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be a good business person. So screen printing and business are two different types of things that you have to commingle. So you need to have some kind of understanding of how to run a business and how to make profit and those kinds of things. So just be aware that, you need to know a little bit about business. Just because you can print doesn't mean you're going to naturally just be a businessman. And there are things in business that you'll have to learn and research and figure out and work it out as you go along, if need be. And on the same note, I would also like to mention that, a lot of people will call me and say, I had an accident or I had an injury, or I'm older and I've got back issues, or I've got problems, health issues. And I want to note that screen printing can actually be a lot of physical labor. Yeah, automatic presses are easier to run, but there's still a lot of pre-press, screen making and reclaiming. There's a lot of standing, there's a lot of repetitive motion, and it can be difficult on your knees, your feet, your legs, your back, your waist, your shoulders, your neck, pretty much about everything. So long hours at a manual press can be taxing on the body. So if you're looking at it as a solution for some kind of physical ailment, you're going to want to make sure that you're able to do the physical work before you invest in the equipment. Okay, so with these things in mind, I think that kind of gives you a little basic thing. So screen printing can be a great startup business. Yes, it totally can, but it's not for everyone. It's a very hands-on, creative type process. You're going to get dirty, you're going to get wet, you're going to get messy, things are going to go wrong, and you're going to make misprints, you're going to mess up jobs, and it's going to cost money. So there's a certain amount of investment also in your time, your labor, and even your own money out of your pocket. So these things all need to be considered together before you decide to spend a tremendous amount of money on a big shop package. So sometimes, it's good to start small and just see if it's really for you. Okay? If you have any questions about screen printing and you're thinking about buying a shop package or getting into screen printing and starting from home, or renting a space and going full-on commercial, and you have questions about this type of thing and you're considering buying a package, please feel free to call me. I sell screen printing equipment and supplies, but what's more important is that I am an actual screen printer. I used to screen print for a living. Now I sell equipment and supplies. I don't screen print anymore. But my experience in screen printing will, help you, because I'm not going to sell you anything you don't need. Okay? I'm not a salesman. I'm a real person trying to help you out, and I make a living in doing it. So I appreciate everybody's business. Thank you to all my customers, I'll say at the same time. And everybody, give me a call, shoot me an email, contact me through my e-commerce site if you need help with anything related to screen printing. Thanks a lot for watching today. We'll see you next time.